Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back. Today's video is all about how to apply winged liner. I go super duper in depth with how to do it. It's going to be very similar to my how to apply eyeshadow video. If you haven't checked that out, I will link it down below. Basically, I go and talk your ear off for forever about how to apply eyeshadow, but a lot of you guys really seem to like that one, so I thought that I would do a very descriptive, in-depth video on how to apply eyeliner. So I hope that you guys enjoy this. I do show you how to apply it on my eyes with a gel eyeliner. However, I show you the other alternatives if you prefer a liquid felt tip or a pencil as well. So yeah, you're gonna get all of this information just thrown at you. I really hope that this is helpful and that you guys like this, but that's pretty much it. Please subscribe and let's just jump right into it. Now, when you go in to do your eyeliner, I think that the trickiest thing is to make sure that they're even, and to get that down can be really, really tricky, but I'm gonna break it down for you. Now, there are two ways of doing it. I'm gonna do it the hooded eye way, even though my eyes aren't technically hooded as you're looking at them right now. But as soon as I put on my eyeliner, my lids tend to like practically disappear. So when I do my liner, I like to do it the hooded eye way, but I'm gonna show you both ways. So if you've got a great lid space on your eyes and you don't have to worry about the lid kind of like disappearing, what you want to do is grab like another object, like you can use like your other liners that you have around or brushes or something like that, but line it up, and you can grab like a nude pencil or a white liner to mark it if you want, because then it can disappear. But what you want to do is measure. So take the end of your nostril right here, measure it to the corner of your eye right here, and to the end of the brow. So line it up like this, and that is the line that your wing is going to form. So grab like a nude pencil or something like that, and you can mark it right along that. You can use something thinner than just a brush or whatever. You can use a toothpick or, you know, anything to help you line that up, but do it on both sides, and then your wings will be even. Now, if you have hooded eyes or a limited eyelid space, is instead of lining it up going this way, when I create my wing, I like it to go almost outwards, and that line is this way, outwards towards the top of my ear. So if you have hooded eyes, then it's not going to wing up like that, because then when you open your eyes, it's gonna get cut and it's gonna look really weird. But if you do it more outwards, it's just gonna go and wing this way, and you'll actually be able to see your wing. So whichever way works best for you, try it that way, and that way your wings will be even. So whether you want to go with the nose up to the brow and have more of a lifted wing effect, or if you want it to go more outwards towards your ear and have a more elongated dramatic effect, that's totally up to you. So now we can apply the eyeliner finally. My personal favorite is the Inglot Gel Liner in shade 77. It can dry out very quickly, so I highly recommend Duraline, which is something that you just drip into the product to revamp and liquefy the gel again. So it's a lot creamier and easier to apply. So I'm just picking up a little bit on both sides of my brush, and then what I do is I wipe it off. As you can see, the brush is really, really flat looking. So it's not really round. What I did when I wiped this off is I flattened it like this. When I go in with my liner, I'm gonna use it right there on the flat side of the brush, and that's gonna make it so it's not too thick right away and it doesn't like glob on. So what I do is I look straight into my mirror. I'm not looking down, I'm not looking up, I'm looking directly straight. This is level with like my nose here. So what I do is I use my pinky as kind of like a balancing point, because then you're gonna be a lot more steady. So no matter what tool you're using, use your pinky as a balancing point. That's why a lot of times I like to do my foundation afterwards, because if I do it first, like I do right now, if I put my finger on, sometimes it can leave a fingerprint or something, but keep that in mind. So as you can see, I'm not going this way with my brush, I'm taking it this way, going right at the bottom lash line corner of my eyeball. So I'm not going up too high where my lashes stop. I'm going where that bottom lash line ends actually. So not here, I'm going here, right where that ends. So I'm bringing it, and I'm gonna bring it out towards my ear, or if you like the uplifted effect, you can bring it going this way, going up towards the brow. But I'm gonna make it go outwards towards my ear. And I'm just creating that. Now, as you saw, it's kind of hard to do it and talk about it at the same time, but what I did there is I flicked it. Now, if you are nervous to flick it and if you feel like it's gonna be a little bit more out of control or out of your control, just do little itty bitty flicks, you know? You don't have to do like one dramatic flick, because say you do that and then it goes crazy across your face. This will kind of control it a little bit by doing the little flicks. So just do your little flicks, and what you want to not do is end it with a lot of pressure on your brush. The most pressure should be right when you apply it, and then the least pressure should be towards the end, because you kind of want your eyeliner to look like it goes and disappears. You want it to go into nothing. So if you bring that line and carry all the pressure all the way to the end, you're gonna have this big like tip of liner all the way at the end, and that's really not what you wanna do. So now that you've got that, I usually do it shorter at first because you can always elongate it later, is now I'm gonna go in with a little bit more product on both sides of my brush, do the same thing, wipe off the excess and make it really, really flat. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna go from the end of that, because we did already make it look very elongated and like it's going to disappear when we did that flick. I'm gonna go from probably right here at this point right here, and I'm gonna bring it in and go along my eye. Now, sometimes I feel like this is gonna be a little bit difficult if you've never done winged liner before. So if it is, you can start here instead and connect it, but I find this to be a lot easier. So do whatever works best for you. I find that with liner, it's gonna take a lot of practice. It's not like just slapping on a lipstick or something like that. It does take practice. So if you've never tried it this way, just give it a try one night before you go to bed, and then wipe it off. Just give it a try and see how you like it. So I go from the middle part here, right here. I'm not gonna go from over here because I don't want that to be thick there. I'm gonna go right here. And I'm just going to mirror my lid. So I'm actually doing my wing almost backwards. And I feel like a lot of people do it this way, but I personally find it to be the easiest for me. So I just went in with more product, did it the exact same way, coated my brush both sides, and then wiped off the excess so that it stays flat. And I go pretty much to like the middle here, to where like my iris starts. I'm gonna go in with some more product. So now I'm gonna look straight into my mirror. Before I was kind of giving it my right side, which I did forget to mention. I apologize. That entire time I had my mirror here, but I looked this way and gave the mirror my right side of my face because I'm working on my right eye. Now I'm gonna look straight into my mirror and almost downwards so I can get right there into the inner part of that liner area. So right here. And I'm not directly going at it like this, because if you do it like that, you're gonna blink. It's gonna feel weird that you've got something directly coming at your eye. You wanna use the entire brush, and this is a big tip for felt tip liners or liquid liners, is to use the entire brush space. So I'm actually using it flat still. I'm not just using the very itty bitty tip part of the brush, I'm using the flat part. So it's using this entire area here, and now this is actually going to connect to this. Now, when you do it, especially with Inglot gel liner, you do want to work quickly or just not sit here and talk to a camera like I am, because it will dry. And once it dries, it will be really difficult to work with once it does dry. But usually, and I'm sure you guys aren't gonna be sitting here explaining it to a group of people or to a camera or whatever, but as you can see, like that's pretty much the base or outline of the eyeliner. Now, say you messed up. You've got this big glob that's kind of like going up here. Let me just purposely do that really quick. I'm gonna make it like, say it looks like this and you kind of sort of messed up a little bit. It's got that glob. Let it dry and we're gonna fill in the rest of it here. Filling in the lines, this is like the easiest part. As you can see, when I work on the outer part, I'm giving the mirror my right side. When I work on the inner part, I'm looking straight forward and down. So just fill that in. The other thing is when you go low with your liner, you wanna make sure you really fill that in there in that outer corner, like almost like your outer waterline. It's very easy to miss this area down here. It's very tricky. So I've let that sit a little bit and let it dry. It looks a little out of place, right? It looks like I've got a bump. Let go of your brush or whatever you're using. Make sure it's dry, because if it's wet, you'll smear it around. Use your fingernail, or you can use like the back of your tweezers. Basically go right above it and just push it down. Make sure you don't get it all over and then mess it up. You can use another one if you want, but if you just push it down, it kind of like the skin around it hides it. I know that's kind of weird, but I do it all the time and it kind of helps. So now I'm just gonna go in with more product, wipe it off and make it thin and kind of go over that area to make it more seamless. But if you ever do something like that, sometimes it's obviously more dramatic than the way I showed just now, but that is how I fix that mistake. And now I'm just gonna go back over it and make it one with everything else. So now we've got this awkward end, which it's honestly decent, it's not bad, but for me, I like my wing to go like off into outer space. So really clean off your brush and make sure it's really, really flat. And now what we're gonna do is we're not gonna start right where that ends. We're gonna come from the inside of that little outer triangle. You see how that makes a little triangle there? We're gonna start from right here, put our brush down and then flick it outwards very slowly. Now you don't wanna wait here, kind of like how I did. You wanna make sure it's really like wet with the liner, because if it's dry, it's gonna be really complicated. So let's do this again. And that's kind of how you get that like disappearing edge. You can also go in with some concealer and clean that up. I personally don't like to do that just because I feel like if I get in the habit of doing that all the time, it's just extra steps. And then sometimes it kind of messes up, I don't know. But that is an easy fix. If something happens out here and it's not the way that you want it to look, like you can use concealer to fix that. And now when I do my opposite eye as my hand, does that make sense? Like I'm right-handed, this is my left eye. I do the same thing like I did in my eyeshadow video where I literally cross my arm across my chest. So when I'm doing it, I look like this. Like this is like this. And then I come in this way. So I've got my anchor point with my pinky out towards the ear. With this eye on the inner corner, I kind of tilted my head to the left, and then now I'm tilting it to the right to access that part of it. Filling in the lines. So I would say that this is pretty much done. I'm happy with how it looks. They're pretty even, unless you're like looking up super close and dissecting it. But yeah, just remember, it does not have to be perfect. Nobody is gonna be looking at your eyes being like, oh, her eyeliner is uneven. And if you are that person, stop it, don't be mean. People are trying and practicing and playing and being creative. So don't be mean. Usually people aren't like that. And if they are like that, they've got more problems than you do. So there's that. I quickly wanted to share with you how to apply liquid liner in a tube like this, felt liner, and they look identical like this, but you know what I mean, the felt tip liner, liquid liner, and the pencil. So this one here that I'm gonna show you is very, very similar in technique and the way to apply it as you would the gel liner that I just used. So this one here is the NYX matte liquid liner, and it comes in a bottle like this. So just, you know, liquid liner, anything that says liquid is gonna be just like this, and it's very, very watery. When you first pull this out of the bottle, there's gonna be this big glob here on the tip of the liner brush. So you wanna use your bottle to really get the excess off. So it is very flat and thin. And make sure you're also getting it from the base of that brush too, because as you apply it, that product is gonna fall to the tip and give you more of that glob and apply too much product than you want. So really, really, really make sure that you get that nice and flat like that. Then you're gonna use it the exact same way that I showed you in this video. It's just you have to make sure that you're really making sure that you get that excess product off, because if you don't, you're gonna apply too much and it's gonna be a hassle. When you apply the liquid liner to your eye the way that I did, you're not gonna be able to just like open your eye and look around right away. You're gonna have to sit in that position just for a minute with your chin up, kind of like looking down into your mirror, or just kind of like this, you know? Because if you go like this and just start looking around, that's gonna transfer up into your crease and it's gonna be messy, and you're gonna be like, crap, I just spent all that time trying to do this and it's ruined. So that's why I personally don't like to use liquid liners myself, just because I'll forget and I'll screw it up and it's a pain in the butt, and gel liner doesn't do that to me. So, but if you do prefer liquid liner, just keep that in mind. In the end, they all end up looking the same. So now with felt tip liner, the one that I have here is the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner. This does say liquid liner, but it is a felt tip. For me personally, I'm not a fan of felt tip liners. The reasoning behind that is, as you can hear, there's like a little bally thing in here. When you're doing it, you end up running out of product and you have to shake it again and get the product to ink down into the felt tip again, which I find to be very, very frustrating and very, very annoying. But a lot of people love felt tip liners. I don't like that you can't really control the tip of this. However, this does already have a very, very fine tip. I'm weird and I like to be able to control that kind of thing. But when you apply this, you're gonna do it the exact same way, but you really wanna make sure that you utilize all of this space here on the felt tip. You don't wanna bring this and go directly at your eye like this and try to apply it like you would a pen or a marker. It doesn't work that way because the majority of the product is here on this entire area. If you try to just draw like this, it'll work for a minute, but it'll eventually run out. You want to make sure that you're really laying this flat on its side and using that entire space to create the line. That's something that I learned when I worked at Sephora and I was getting certified. You want it to be completely sideways like this, going horizontally, and lay it flat against it, and it will be so much easier for you to achieve. Now, this does dry quicker than the liquid liner that I showed you before this one. However, you still want to make sure that it dries completely before opening or moving or whatever, especially if you have hooded eyes, because it is a little bit more wet. I also find that the felt tip liners are a little bit more sticky. So whenever I would have my winged liner done and I would open my eyes throughout the day, they would almost stick to my crease. It was very frustrating and annoying. But a lot of people love the felt tip liners, and that's their go-to and their favorite, and that's awesome. But I did want to share those techniques on how to apply those if you like those and that's your thing. And now lastly here, I have an eyeliner pencil. This is my personal favorite one. It's the Ardency in Modster eyeliner. I do have this sharpened as much as it can possibly go, and as you can see, it is a lot thicker than the other options that I've showed you here. So for this, I wouldn't even recommend to use a pencil for a wing, but if that is all that you have at home, it is definitely achievable. It's just gonna be harder to do. So what I would recommend is to do it the same way I just showed you, but do not worry about the bottom part here being perfect, because I would recommend to go in with a concealer then to clean up your mistakes, just because this is going to be very, very complicated to make it so precise just because it is so thick. Just go on kind of like you would a crayon or how you would normally use an eyeliner pencil. Create the wing like you would, but don't worry so much about getting this so precise. You're really gonna get it to look precise by going in with your concealer and cleaning it up afterwards. I personally love these pencils mainly for in the waterline or the bottom lash line or something like that. And I really like this one, the Ardency In one, just because it's very, very creamy and pigmented. So it goes on like super easily without having to go over it a billion times, but it also lasts really, really long. So if you've got watery eyes or something like that, I do recommend this one. I also really love the Rimmel Scandal Eyes liners. Those are also really good. They're just not as pigmented as this one, but the price difference is there. These are like $20. I don't know how much the Rimmel ones are off the top of my head, but they're significantly cheaper. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some mascara and some false lashes. If you'd like a full video just like this one that's super in depth on how to apply lashes, just let me know. I would definitely love to do one and go over all of my tips and tricks and stuff like that. All right, so that was everything on how to apply eyeliner. I really hope that this was helpful. If you end up trying it out and it works out, please let me know down below. And if you have any questions at all, ask me that in the comments as well. I do already have a video on how to apply eyeshadow just like this one, where I go almost too in depth on how to do it. So I will link that down below in the description box of this video, along with a bunch of other videos that I think that you would like that are very similar. And if you want more videos like this that go so in depth with it, please let me know what those videos are down below if you'd like to see that, because I would be more than happy to do that. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And that is it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.